Evening, everyone.
Yep.
Our Pirates Crib here. Just introduce. Obviously, got me hosting tonight. The Pain Train. Earth couldn't make it. He's had some personal issues come up, so he sends his love and regards. BP Professor's here to give us all the lowdown on the stats and numbers. He's got a few slides to show us. We've got Scotty, chosen one as well, here to give us some info. Chris, one of our newer guys, coming back for round 2, so we didn't scare him off too much last week. And we've got a special appearance from Tio, who most of you remember as Carpe Diem. So welcome back, Tio.
Hey, everybody.
So let's not beat about the bush. Professor, if you want to bring up some slides, we'll start talking about the new Forsaken mission content.
All right. Okay. So, sorry guys, technical issues.
I wondered what happened. I thought I froze.
No, that was me.
Take 2.
All right. So, yeah, I'm all set to go, guys. Sorry about that. Right. So I'm going to start out talking about the new Forsaken mission items this week. There's 3 new prizes. I guess 5 if you count these 3 levels of shielded tactical system, which is where I'll start. So the shielded tactical system is a combo special for your ships. It gives you 2 types of resistances. It gives you tactical field resistance, and it gives you slow resistance. And I actually had to talk to Doom Rooster to find out exactly what this did. So it's right up here. So slow resistance covers the duration of things that hit you and slow you down. So that's things like harpoons and disruptor cannons. So the slow resistance reduces the duration of those slowdowns by that percentage that you get on the special. Tactical field resistance reduces the effects of tactical fields, like modules that you'd mount on arbiters or monarchs or whatever, ice patches, and fire patches. So now we don't usually think of ice and fire fields as tactical fields, but that's what this property does. So the fire fields give you a damage per second, so you'll get an extra resistance against that, stacked with your radioactive resistance. The ice fields slow you down by a percentage, and also cause an armor bypass, usually like 30%. So the field resistance would reduce, for example, that 30% by 30%, leaving you with, I guess, a 21% bypass. Now, the thing that this shielded tactical system does not have that you get on something like shielded electronics is stun resistance. So you don't have any pinch resistance with this special like you would with shielded electronics. In the article I posted yesterday, I didn't have the build times yet, but since the update and the mission started today, we do have the build times for you, and I would say they're relatively long. So 2 days for the level 3 special, and day and a quarter or so for the level 2, and a little over half a day for the level 1. I mean, that's not totally out of line with some of the other top-end specials, but I still think it's kind of long for what this is. So what do you guys think?
I can't think of anything I'd really want to put it on. Like, I can't think of anything I'd really want to spend the time to refit it to.
I don't see it as being important in any fleets we've got at the moment. I think, if you're looking from a base card standpoint, shielded electronics is definitely the best option because of the anti-pinch, without a shadow of a doubt. And let's face it, you're not really getting any tactical fields hitting your base at the moment. So you don't need to resist anything. With regards to base attacking, if you're going to be using it for the slow resistance, you want to use the agility system, I would say, or
Yeah.
yeah, I'd definitely say agility system, so you can have some extra evade as well. This doesn't offer any evade, does it?
Yeah, so you'd be taking either your evade or your armor special away just to have this. It just doesn't seem, and at only 30%, it just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, and you could
Maybe we'll see it with reflective coating. You know, using in combination with reflective coating as well to keep the radiation and evade.
Yeah, but I think stunners is still important because remember that there are many bases that still have hard locks, and those stun pinches are going to give you crap if you don't have any sort of resistance to them.
Yeah, I think this is definitely needing a fifth special slot to make use of, because you've got your engines or whatever as one, your evade, reflective coating, for example, and then if you've got solid fuel booster or maybe incendiary shells or nuclear accelerator, depending on which type of weapon you're hitting the base with.
Yeah, or maybe if you build it in any sort of hole that with weapons that doesn't need a special to give them range, for example, maybe you can do it, but not in one that is dependable on that special for doing it.
All right. So I think we're all in agreement. This one doesn't look too attractive at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll
maybe
move
in
on.
the future. You should know
Yeah,
what's coming,
no, but this certainly, I just can't imagine it. The Hell Strikes and Hellhounds already have a 50% tactical field resistance built in, by the way. So that's something you might want to keep in mind too. All right, I'm going to move on. The Searing Barrage Mortar. All right, so this is a new light Reaver mortar. It does a lot of damage. It's got a lot of splash, and it's got a nice salvo. And its weight is the same weight as the Shockwave mortar. So you could drop this in as a one-for-one replacement on Q mortars. And so the question is that a good idea? I'm going to go to the next page where I did the chart. I compared this to a lot of the different existing mortars. So first of all, you've got the 85 range, so it's, I guess, a moderate range. You can see the basic damage, 1100. That's actually more than any of these other mortars that I showed here. And then you also have the 660 bonus damage, which is radioactive damage type. Reload time's about the same as a lot of the other mortars, a little bit slower than the Negotiator. Splash 15, you can see that's really big. I didn't put a Siege mortar on here. I think Siege B might be around that neighborhood, 15. Spread 100 is average. And then that leads you to this equivalent accuracy, which is a formula to kind of estimate what percentage of that damage is done to the target you're aiming at. So then you get DPS and DPS for H-ton numbers, and these are just tremendous. If you look at the raw DPS of this Searing Barrage mortar, it is about the same as the Chaos mortar, which at first glance you'd be like, okay, but you got to remember the Chaos mortar weighs almost 4 times as much. So it's a lot of damage, and that's why the DPS per H-ton is so high on this mortar. So just a whole lot of damage. A little bit more damage to buildings because of the extra building damage, but pretty much every mortar will do that. And then today we found out the build time. So the build time for the Searing Barrage mortar is the same as the Shock Mortar Q. So pretty reasonable build time. I mean, I think we all thought the Shock Q didn't have an outrageous build time either. And it also adds a little bit of radioactive defense. So we do have a video of these mortars in action. I think if we switch to Rob, he's ready to show it. Rob?
Yep, I was trying to unmute. Got my screen share selected.
All right.
So this is courtesy of Dutch Rudder 88, assuming that it's.
We got the video freezing on my end, Rob. Are we doing all right?
Maybe Rob's just all froze up.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Earth to Rob.
All right. Well, if Rob's frozen up, we'll just carry on. To give you the spoiler for the video, those mortars really destroyed the crap out of those 71s. We looked at some chaos mortars just beforehand to compare, and these are more destructive than the chaos mortars. So these new mortars are really destructive. I mean, you can see it in the numbers, DPS per ton, and so far it looks like on the water that they are going to bear out to be just as destructive. You know, the other question about mortars is always their hang time, right? How long does it take for the shells to land? And it looks like it's tough to tell so far, but from the stats out there, it looks like these have the same speed as the Chaos and Negotiator mortars. So, mortars are still taking a long time to land, but these are at least like the good mortars, not the slow mortars like siege mortars.
Yeah. Besides,
Go ahead.
Besides, it has that huge range. It's quite important, I would say, because normally that was the lack of the Chaos mortars. At times was very difficult if the guy was building the base smart, giving distance between the guarding defense and the channel. You were unable to hit them from the channel and just were waiting till the end that you could cross all the channel to reach the island and demolish even the defending guard. But with 85, you are more close to hit. So yeah, definitely this is a good addition to the game.
I don't know. I like these mortars a lot. I really think that it's going to bring DNXs back, just because of the new flagship that we've seen rumored pictures of or whatever. It looks like a re-refined DNX, so mix that and the missiles and some old school DNXs might be a good quick refit to get them an old fleet back in the game.
Yeah, definitely. You will be able to get the dust off of those dreadnoughts, or even the people that build them in the circs that only were using now with launches and stuff like that to get back, or just being the decoy fleet to in those Mastodon fleets, so you could get the overload.
Yeah.
Yeah, those might be nice on Berserkers too. I didn't think about that one.
Yeah, personally, I like
refitting
old fleets,
Yeah, refitting old DNX seems like a no-brainer. I mean, I never built those DNX, but yeah, it certainly seems like a great refit.
No, but if you didn't build, maybe you're not going to bother. But for the people that have them and don't have the time to invest into building the new sheets for all the time they take, those 30 days and the like, building this and getting something to some spare fleets from the time that the main fleets are being destroyed is going to be good for the game.
Yeah, I've got a set of R5 DNXs that are on like its third refit already, so I might as well make it a fourth one.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
We wait one more minute to see if Rob is back already.
Well, he's back in. I haven't heard from him yet.
No, neither do I.
All right. Move on to the new Assault Disruptor. So for all of you that bought the Assault Disruptor in the last raid, it's now obsolete. So congratulations. So this is an improved ship disruptor cannon. How is it improved? So your slowdown per hit is doubled. Does 10% speed slowdown versus 5%. It also has increased damage and increased range, so its range went up to 47 base from 45. And they also increased the weight a little bit and decreased the accuracy. With doubling the slowdown and reducing the accuracy by 10%, it's still a good improvement over the previous one. When I wrote the article, I didn't know the build time. We do know the build time now. It is the same as the old Disruptor, which was kind of long for such a light weapon, but it's a bit unique, so I guess you kind of understand. I still don't like it that a 200-ton weapon takes over a day to build, but them's the breaks. So anyway, yeah, this with new ballistic hulls coming out, this would be a nice add or a nice refit for the old Disruptor cannons. But you guys?
So far, I like it. As you said, that improve from 5 to 10 is important. I think you were needing 15 on the pass to get the max slow that you could give with this weapon. And those 15 were a lot. I remember I built in that time those Stingrays with a mix of this one and the chain, the river chain guns and alike, and they were doing an amazing job. But if now you could have more of those rivers, if the bypass that came on January, and add this weapon that you don't need that many to improve that to that 80% slow, you can have a very good field, a very good fleet that could do good for you, because as long as they try to get closer, you slow them down, especially when they are fast fleets like the rivers that you are dealing now.
Okay. Anything else on the new Disruptor?
I think Chosen was trying to chime in and nobody can hear him, so I was kind of letting him have at it for a second. But, well, for me, I use Disruptors on a lot of ships. I think these are just like, 50 tons heavier than the old ones or whatever, which kind of sucks because my fleets are all within a few tons of 100%. I try to use as much weight as I can, but yeah, I'll refit them on whatever I can fit it on. It might be better to save a little weight and use two of these or use one of these instead of two of the other ones.
If you're doing a 1-for-2, you're probably gonna lose out a little bit because you're doubling your slowness per hit, but you have that little bit less accuracy. So you can't. I think if you do like a 1-for-2 refit, you're gonna be less effective. But if you could do like 2-for-3 or something like that, you'd probably be improving. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
All right. Oh, we got Scotty.
Ah, there we go.
Scotty appears.
Don't know what that was all about.
He's talking away and nobody hears him.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Yeah, that Disruptor, I quite like it because the range you can get, it's quite nice. I mean, with the accelerator, you get what 85 range on the Crusader and like 72 or something on the Jugex. So it's perfect for dredges and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously with the new raid, with all the ships that rush on you with the reavers.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a frostburn, you need something like this to keep those reavers off you. If I think about it, I talked about using the Monarch as a poor man's frostburn with an engine disruptor field. Maybe if you want something else with your Monarch, like a armor bypass on some of those reavers, or a microwave disruptor just to keep your damage down when these guys are on you. You put some of these disruptors on to keep them slow. Just spitballing here. All right, so I think I'll move on. it's it for the weapons. Do we have anything else we want to talk about for the Forsaken mission? Locust UAV went bye-bye. Reaver Bulkhead came back.
I know it sucks. I had one thing to get last week, and now I got 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that I was all caught up all of a sudden. And then I realized I didn't have Reaver Bulkhead yet, so I think everybody's one behind. I don't know. Because I had finished every Forsaken mission ever, but I'm still one behind. So I think nobody is caught up.
Well, I already got the accelerator this week, and then they put the 3 more in plus the bulkhead.
But
Yeah.
everybody is one behind, because if you remember, I think it was in January or on December that instead of waiting the 3 weeks they were waiting, they added one after 2 weeks of the first release. They added more stuff, so it made for everybody be one behind, and you will keep for a long while unless that they do one of those weeks in which they don't add stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't think of what I can't think of what I'm missing at all. Must not have been important.
I'm sure you're missing something.
Yeah, I can't think of what it is.
Maybe it's one of those draconian turret armors or something, but you're missing
Oh,
something.
my mind. That's it.
Your mind.
That's not even don't worry, don't have it.
That's what I missed.
Okay. And with that one, we'll move on to changes and bug fixes. So there's a few minor ones. The one I highlighted this week is the retreat button. I know sometimes, and I guess KixEye says in this changelog that when you go in and out of a combat, sometimes you'll lose your retreat button. I have had that happen once in a while, but they say now it should be correctly functional. So, so hopefully that's fixed, and we'll always be able to retreat when we want to.
I think I suffered that one, especially when in those Thursdays that you were doing the unidentified riflets, that you were retreating those you didn't like the ones with subs. From time to time, you were finding getting in and not having the retreat button and having to get out of the battle, get in again, and then trying to get the retreat button.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Anyone else, or let's keep moving? I got a lot of slides tonight because we've got raid preview stuff. We all ready for that?
Yeah, get past the boring stuff. Let's do it.
All right. So let's start with what we think the official info is.
Gimme.
Well, Scotty wants to say something. Let him.
Scotty wants a proto.
Yeah. I think that what a squirrel, whatever she is, she's going to be happy because if you remember, guys, she even made that famous song for that Christmas thing.
What?
You don't remember that song from Where a Squirrel that I want to proton a message for Christmas, something like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
I ain't been around that long.
Yeah. Where Squirrel on the forums. I haven't seen her around in quite a while. So yeah, so what do we know? We know it's going to be the longer raid with the hull store and possibly other components as well. Still fighting Reavers. We know there's a new co-op target that the sector has to work together to unlock, and there has been a teaser video on the KixEye forums. If you haven't seen that, or if you haven't seen the repost elsewhere, I've got the link here. You can always get the slides that we go through from a link on my website. So that's the official info. And let's get to the unofficial info, which we learned a little more of today. So the campaign structure is going to be the same as what we've been seeing for a while. Recon, I guess they changed Strike to Assault, and then there'll be the Siege and Elite campaigns, and the bonuses for campaign completion will be the same. Still 5 targets for those first 3 campaigns as well. And then there's going to be world map targets. So again, that piece of the raid is going to be very similar. But what they're adding are these sector points. So what do we think we know about sector points? Hitting raid targets gives your sector points on the sector point progress bar.
So kind of like the controller sector thing.
Yeah. And then as that bar goes up, there will be boosts for everyone in the sector for the duration of the raid. What are those boosts? We don't know.
Maybe it's bonus points.
Yeah, I'm thinking it could be bonus points. It could be sort of prizes get cheaper.
Bonus defense, maybe.
I was
Or
thinking about the older raids where you had points multipliers. So the higher the bar at the end of the raid, the higher your points multiplier.
And sector's probably going to have enough points to unlock the platforms to get the protos. So if you've got a unactive sector, then you're probably going to have trouble getting those unlocked, possibly.
Right, everyone
right.
jump to the same sector.
we all want to jump to Rob's sector.
Hey, why mine?
Yeah, I guess that the sector that is doing Appaloosa is going to be the best sector to get this thing done.
I'm not hosting no Palooza. What are you on about? I mean, I host my own personal one every day if I'm hitting an alliance, but
yeah, and so we also know that the sector points are going to unlock this big assault platform. It's going to be a 4-player co-op target, and somehow the Proto-Nemesis will be the prize.
And if I'm correct, you got to one-shot it.
wait, can I just interrupt there and say, you said the Proto-Nemesis will be the prize. Didn't it say there's a chance to win it? So you're not
So like a
going
drop
to walk out with that, are you?
Well, that's a good point. We don't know that for sure, that everybody or anybody in any particular one will win a proto.
My thought behind it, and again, it's just my complete guess, it's going to be maybe just like the odds of winning a drag base. You know how one person out of the 4 can possibly win it. However, they might have really bumped up the drop rate or something.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think that's probably the closest. It's better drop rate than it would be in a drop base, so you got more chance of getting it, but there's no guarantee.
It'd be nice if 1 out of the 4 got it every time, The Drac, 1 out of the 4 players, will get a blueprint if they can get one.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Could you imagine that many people having Nemesis?
I was going to say, then everyone would get one, wouldn't they?
Everyone and the dog.
To re-release the old hull, that's the point. It's something everybody wanted forever, and it's so old, they're just going to, here you go, guys, have at it.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you put full bulkhead on that, you've got 85,000 arm points on it, you can still use it.
It'll still drop in a well-built base, 85,000 armor or not. The amount of offense that you can pump out of your base. I've seen bases. I saw someone get hit with a Grimwrath and 2 Protomast. The Grimwrath was full, and I mean, I can't explain how many Reaver armors it must have had, because the bar was just loads and loads of lines. I got hit with the Grimshine Berserker with that, and it died so fast because its evade and its defenses were lower.
Yeah. Actually, I got hit today by someone, and she brought an unshackled Hellhound with I think it was full Reaver bulkhead, and she got almost in and sunk, and yeah, I felt pretty good about that one.
Yeah, but the thing, guys, that Proto-Nemesis is quite old, and without having that radioactive resistance, it's not going to have much chances in many of the high-end level bases.
And remember, you can't use a Frostburn or any other flagship with that.
Exactly, because it's flagship by itself.
But
yeah.
Like I just said in chat, how cool would it be to have a Proto-Nemesis with Proto-Mastodons behind it? It would just look good.
It would. It would. Okay, so that's what we know, and this is what we think we know. Again, if those guys at Dark Alliance dig up anything new, they'll post it on their forum. I got the link here.
I just want to ask, I kind of dropped in and out. Did you post them screen shares yet of what I sent you earlier?
No, not yet. We'll do it after this slide.
Okay, cool.
So the next bit is prizes, and again, we've got some preliminary images and minor descriptions. So we start out with the Dante's Nova Storm hull, which is a Reaver, looks like a Reaver-fied DNX. Dante's Nova Storm seems like it's going to be the limited flagship. The description says that it's a mortar flagship with fire and ice resistance, and it also gives a aura with the mortar reload. So sort of like a Savage or a
Grimshine.
Yeah, well, Grimshine's Wrath for missiles, except this one's going to be for mortars. And then it also says speed up other ships in your fleet to avoid enemy effects. And if you look down to the Nova Storm, it also says strong fire and ice resistance and speeds up to escape. So again, you know, just on these little descriptions, it's tough to know how that's going to work. You know, if you enter a fire field, do you get a speed bonus or something like that? But we'll just have to wait and see there. But these certainly looks like DNXs with a Reaver-fied and looks like trying to bring sexy back into mortars.
Big repair modifier, I bet.
Yeah, it's probably pretty likely you'll see that 150%.
Yeah, or maybe like that speed that used to have the Grimshans and alike when they got into the overload. It's each amount of damage they get that speed bonus for 9 seconds.
I
Maybe.
got it.
It's
When
guessing.
you're running the ship, you get a little button on the screen that says 1 coin, and every time you click it and spend a coin, you get a little nitrous boost, and it just squirts across the screen.
That's interesting.
Don't be feeding them that idea, will you?
Yeah, Chris, this might be your last appearance.
don't get too comfortable there.
When I just mute myself and keep myself out of trouble.
Nah, it's
Yeah.
all right. All right, and then the Pandemonium mortar looks like a heavy siege mortar. Not much more than that. So
Looks like the big version of a mini one they've just put out.
yeah, boy, with the amount of damage that mini one puts out, who knows what this siege one's going to put out?
Do a mix of the two.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what we know about the new prizes. You guys excited?
Yes and no. I love the look of that. You know, if that is what it is, the the Dread-X modified by Reavers. I just don't. When you put that next to the stats, it just doesn't fit, does it? You know, I almost feel like they've got the wrong image. I just can't picture a Dread-X being made that good. I actually thought earlier, I was saying to some people in my alliance, maybe we're getting new skins and stuff, aren't we? In the upcoming arenas for customizations. Maybe one avenue they're going to take is you can have a Reaver style skin or a Draconian style skin. Maybe this is the Reaver style skin for the Dread, and the actual Nova Storm is a different ship completely.
Maybe.
It does sound like it'd be like stupidly powerful. I mean, I know the Hell Strikes were as well, but sorry, the Hell Strikes and the Hellhounds. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to bring back mortars, you know, the big weakness of mortars, even the fast mortars take a long time to land. So if they're going to make these ships effective, they got to have a lot of defense. So,
well, do you guys think that with all the retrofits you can put on the mortars and stuff now to increase splash, that you could actually substitute incendiary shells for combustion system?
I don't know. I was thinking the combustion system might be a decent option to try. I mean, it's got so much more splash. I mean, yeah, you don't have the exact fire pools, but there's so many defenses for fire pools and things like that now that maybe just the extra damage is a better way to go.
Yeah.
It's definitely an option. I mean, the fire field doesn't really do much anymore.
Do you know, I've just actually thought. I said earlier, didn't I, about the new special, the tactical special, how it doesn't have any use in base guard. It actually does when you think about these mods. I was saying to some of you before the show, when we watched that video of the Spader's Dreads with the new Mortar on it, how much, they have, is it 4 salvos? So
Yeah.
4 shells per salvo. So think
Yep.
about all the fire that they're going to lay down on your guard fleet when they do fire. Having that special, if you can make it fit, would actually really help, because the amount of damage that they're going to do, it's going to add up really fast.
Yeah, but even the top end, you only get 30% resistance, or additional 30% resistance. It's not that great.
Combustion system's really heavy though.
I think he was talking about radiation suppressor in your base, like the or the radiation extinguisher is the one that puts out the fire fields in your base or whatever.
No, I wasn't actually. I was talking about the specials just come out, but now you mention it, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Those things would actually have a use now, because who actually has put one of those on their base? I know I haven't.
Yeah, I've been catching up with the new weapons, but yeah, I can see that.
Frostburn will be good in guard. The only problem for me is that I use it as an offensive hull.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever bring it out of offensive.
This is a big hint to Kickside. If you released a second, I would build one and put it in my guard fleet. Obviously, it's got better thermal than better sonar, and it would extinguish a hell of a lot of fire and cryo stuff in my base.
Yeah, I'll say that as an early raid tip. If we get limited hulls back and you can get a first or a second Frostburn, that's got to be at the top of your list.
Or if they brought out a new attack module that gives that field.
Yeah.
Frostburn is my favorite ship. I would kill to have a second one.
I mean, if you had a Monarch in and they've got, your attack module does that field.
I would still. Frostburn is, I would say, the most important piece of tech in the game at the moment. I feel sorry for those who missed it, and it would be nice to have a second one, and for those who haven't got one to have one, because I think without the Frostburn, it really changes your whole build and your whole attitude to base attacking with loads of different fleets. I use my Frostburn for loads of things. I use it for dredges. I've got deluge missiles on to prep our guards. I use it with Mastodons as well in some base hits. I use it with my Crusaders. I use it with loads of different ships. If I didn't have that, the game would be a hell of a lot more expensive.
Yeah. I remember the raid where they released it. I think I spent a lot, well, maybe not a lot more, but more than I usually do to get that hull, and I don't regret it.
Yeah, I helped a few people. Actually, did a few people's raid. Helping them out doing to get that Frostburn, because if they didn't get anything else, that Frostburn was like, the prize to get.
Yep. Okay. Have we all adequately professed our Frostburn love? Tito, do you have anything else you want to say as an ode to the Frostburn?
Mostly you covered it all, because I was going to say about the full store, maybe bring back, like they did the last time, that they brought back all those flagships that were limited, so maybe for those that don't have. But you all guys covered it all.
All right. Tito loves the Frostburn too.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite fleets also before I left. But yeah.
Yep. Okay. I think now we have some screenshots from the video, and I'll just put them up there. And Rob, if you want to go through these.
Yeah. So, in fact, let me slide your screen. So the first one I took was just, a kind of outside look on what we're going to expect to see on the map. it just looks pretty cool. So I thought I'd snap that screenshot first. I don't think there's much to say about it. Obviously, you can quite clearly see there's a bubble on it. So this is the base that they've described in the leaks and stuff so far.
All right.
If you want to move to the next one. So this one, I'm not sure what you lot make of it. It's certainly not the big Reaver assault platform that we imagined, is it? That one's in a further screenshot. I wonder if this is a secondary target or
Could be the side bits like what you got in the jet base, the artillery.
yeah, that's what I think. It could be that, but there's no artillery platform on there. You know what we can see. But one thing I did notice, I don't know if anybody else, I don't know if it's just them doing fancy editing on the video or if it's with Morts. But the whole radiation stuff what they use is kind of glowing more than it usually does. It's like a glowing red rather than a fiery orange.
Well, you can see it there on that picture.
Yeah, with the napalm, you can on the apocalypse Morts you can see it. All I'm thinking is, does that mean damage buff? Does that mean they hurt more than what we're used to, or is it just a fancy piece of editing on the video to make it look pretty?
Good question.
But yeah, you know, from what we can see, looking at the weapons, we've got nothing we've not seen before. We've got the javelins, the APOC morts, and the napalms. We've all declared our love for the Frostburn, and this is where it plays a massive part in your game. All this fire can be put out. You put it with a missile fleet, you know, Mastodons or V2s, Crusaders, pretty much would tear through this from what I can see of this picture so far.
Yep.
So,
all right.
So this one's just what we can see on the outside is what you expect to see. Notice the big fat nemesis that we can see, and someone has got a Frostburn there. And the reason I picked this is, well, they've all got different flagships. You know, one's got a Savage, one's got a Nemi, one's got a Frostburn. When you're hitting this, it's a co-op event, so you don't all need to have Frostburns. I mean, if you had multiple, 2 or 3 had the Frostburn, and you know you could space them out in such a way that you're putting out a wider area of debuff, a wider area of extinguishing the fire fields. But if one guy's got a Frostburn, why not go in with a Savage behind him and boost your missile defense a bit, because he's going to extinguish the field for you. So put your tactics together and kind of get the best out of all the fleets. It might be better to mix it up a little bit there. Don't know what you want to think to that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, because do you remember that video that we done for the last raid, Rob, where we both went in with 2 different fleets and mixed it up with the Mastodons? You was using your Hellhounds or Jugex, I believe, to pull them, and I just followed you with the I followed you with the Frostburn to extinguish the field as you're pulling them back to the Mastodons.
I think that's what's going to be key in this raid, is kind of communicating with your team. You know, even simple things like talking on TeamSpeak or whatever you might use would really help you to kind of plan the raid better and to fight better. Like Scotty just said, when me and him did, we were in a live chat together. He was following me with his Frostburn. Because he had his Frostburn, I took mine out and put in my Highlander to give myself a boost of radiation defense, knowing he's going to put out most of the stuff for me. So it's all about teamwork, and you really need to take that into consideration when you're hitting these.
I say, like you said, you know, you can have 4 people in it. Say you got a full 4, you can have 2 people with the Frostburn, and they, you know, you hit a half and half. 2 go one way, 2 go another way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. And you know, just thinking of it, there's a lot of Apocalypse Morts. It's hard to say without having a proper look at the raid ourselves. But if you all group, so that's 4 people grouping all the ships together. Let's say you've all got a Frosty missile fleet. So if you all drop 1 V2 or 1 Kodiak out for a Triton with the hailstorms, that's a hell of a lot of hails between you, and you've still got the missile firepower between you as well. And you'll be shooting down a lot of the morts, a lot more than you would.
And go around as one.
Yeah, go around as one pack. You know, keep the firepower concentrated rather than spread out across the base, and you might find you last longer.
Huh.
Trying to interchange your ships as well, so you're not all taking damage. The same person not taking damage all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
One takes 70 hits, then you swap it out. Someone takes hits the next
Yeah,
lot hits, and then
just like you would rotate your fleet if you were hitting a base. Like if me and Scotty were to tag team it, if I was taking like over 50% damage on my frostburn, I might say, look, put yours up front, let me pull mine back, so we're keeping the tactical fields open on the map for longer.
And mix up your damage types that you're using if you're going to go that route too. You know, because some have higher resistances to certain types and others are lower. You know, so if you've got a nice diverse mix of damage types going out, then it'll probably help kill quicker too, as long as you're surviving longer.
I'd probably say a mix of, say, like mortar. Obviously, a lot of people have got the negotiating mortar fleets, mortars, missiles, and the new Crusaders.
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched onto a winner there. Really, you've got the morts, which should really pound down against the buildings. The Crusaders will, we've seen they'll tear through anything at the moment in the game. If you get your missiles to,
And even
for
Harlock for the ships.
the direct, Harlock's missiles, all for the direct target.
Going.
Don't forget you've got your frostburn to slow them down. So if you were to use morts, you might be able to hit some of the ships.
So I'd probably get Harlocks in there as well, just because we've seen how much the Harlocks with power cells and that chew the ships up. So
well, don't
they'll
forget
kill the
cryos.
ships.
A lot of people have cryo ships, maybe on Jug X's, or I've even seen people cryo Hellhounds, obviously V2Cs. If you can debuff the enemy ships while someone else is killing them with missiles, they'll drop a lot faster that way.
Yeah, even ends, even cryo ends.
Yeah, I mean, in summary, there's a hell of a lot of different tactics you can put together to hit these. I imagine different groups of people will approach them in different ways. You'll probably get groups of people who will go in with full Crusaders between the four. I can imagine there's a lot of people who probably hit with Frosty Crusaders and just blitz through these. You'll get people who will use more missiles and stuff. I think the main thing to remember is it's all about teamwork, communication between each other, and picking the right fleets that complement your friends' fleets as well. There's no point in sending in a fleet that's got 30 map speed and your mate's got a fleet that's got 16 combat speed. Sorry, you need to complement each other as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
So if you move to the next one.
I just want to say one thing about this screenshot. I also noticed these targets down here. They look like maybe world map. We're going to see some platforms instead of just fleets. These look like little different platforms down here at the bottom. So.
Yeah. Maybe the image of low level ones, because that one says level 90.
Yeah.
Well, maybe actually, if you go back to the previous slide, maybe that's what that is.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be a campaign target too, but yeah, it could be a world map target. Mm-hmm. All right. And our last slide of the evening.
Seeing that, now that to me looks more like the drop bay, the base.
No, this is where shit gets real.
that to me looks like the base.
But see, here's my thing with this. There's one guy who's gone in right in the middle with his proto-nem. He's going to take a hell of a lot of damage. If there was just, say, one guy following him with a frostburn, and they put out all the fire around him, that's going to greatly help him, isn't it?
Yeah. And, I looked at that and I thought, boy, that whole enclosed area is a real death trap. I mean, you look at all those mortars, right? I mean, you want to kind of cruise past them usually, but you just can't. You're right. You're kind of stuck in that little lagoon. So,
want to utilize your range as well a lot.
I think, looking at this, you're going to want to, let's just say where the proto-nemesis is, so we've got a point of reference. You would really want to hug them walls, go around, kill all basically rim the base, and then go into that middle bit where the proto is, and just kind of skirt around the land as close as you can. You don't want to be turning sharp because, you're going to get hit with the morts that way. And this is where I had the idea for the Tritons. If you went in as a pack, and you had just a few ships with countermeasures between you, it's gonna help you a lot, because the closer you get, the faster the morts are gonna come down and hit you.
Yeah.
As long as you have those Tritons behind them, so you can cover him and then just replace in case that it only gives points to the ones doing damage. Yes, you could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look good though. It looks cool. I can't wait to hit this.
It's dangerous but cool, yeah.
I went
I
back
would-
to saying we heard that you got to one-shot it as well.
Yes.
And do you guys remember that they wanted to change the Forsaken mission platforms and alike? Do you think that is maybe the future Forsaken mission as well?
I could imagine this will be in the Forsaken mission. Maybe something like what we saw in the last raid with the campaign. I reckon that it pretty much was the Forsaken mission 65 hub, but transformed into Reavers. I would imagine that would be something that would be on the cards if it's not already. Obviously, we don't have any information. It's just speculation. But I don't know what you guys think, but that's pretty reasonable, I would say, to change it to what we saw in the last raid.
This big one is the one that giving you the 4 millions and a house for that people that thinks that doing Forsaken missions is so tedious and just want to finish them fast. It will have higher repairs, but will finish faster.
You know, that was the first thing I thought when I saw those hubs was like, okay, well, there's the new Forsaken mission, you know? That's pretty much how they released the first Forsaken mission hubs. You know, they were a raid, and then all of a sudden they were the weekly missions. So.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I'm surprised they haven't changed already with the cryo turrets and the executioners, to be honest.
Yeah, done something anyway.
They threatened that once, didn't they?
They did mention it. I think it was in. Correct me. I mean, we got Trogar actually on the chat. He would. I'm hoping he's a bit of a forum nerd and he knows this on top of his head. I think it was the March work in progress that they said that. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure it was the March work in progress.
Yes.
That's what I actually thought the update was. I said to you guys, I think the update is probably going to be a new Forsaken mission. That's why it's been put back a day to make sure it's done right. There's no problems, but it wasn't.
Problem is, if they change it to executioners and stuff, I mean, there's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to hit them.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, people are so used to these missions, and any change is going to make it harder, even if it's not, objectively harder. People aren't going to know how to do them, and so they're just going to be harder for a while.
I was thinking executioners. I mean, if you're saying like talking from say like the way Tyler does it, for example, if they was putting executioners and that into the Forsaken and took out the ones the missiles that are in it, you can't shoot on executioners with the antis.
I just want to say before we keep speculating, Trogar's caught up on the chat. Obviously, the chat's a little bit delayed. He says there's no plans at the moment to change it. It was going to change, but they've decided not to. So I don't know if that's good or bad, to be honest. I mean, it's good at the moment for those, like we were saying. It's good for people like Tyler, who are only just managing to get through the missions and grinding through to tier 4. But when he says it was going to change, but they decided not to, the way I see it is there has to be a reason why. Is the reason why because they've decided we don't want to bother changing it with the cryos and executioners because we know shortly we're going to have the the Reaver ones instead? Is that what that means? I wonder.
Well, no plans are no plans. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he actually just said it was generally
Plans changed.
He says it was generally the community that stopped that. So congratulations, guys. You did something in the community somewhere. Speaking up, always there's always like, oh, nobody listens and stuff. Well, I suppose they did for them. I don't remember that discussion happening or anything. So.
Yeah, that would make the Forsaken mission hard for a lot of people because if you can't shoot down the executioners, and we know you can't shoot launchers down, all the people that built anti-tritons and that to do their mini raid, they'll be invalid.
I remember actually that, and that was the reason I started to build my fleets with higher base like those juggernauts, because they said at the time that they were going to introduce things like the Cryo launchers into the Forsaken mission all posts. So yeah, that was happening a while back.
Yep. I used Jugex as a tank for all those missions to one ship with really high evade and backed it up with launchers or mastodons.
Yeah, that was at the end. I think I was using a Savage Kodiak and 2 mastodons behind with 2 Tritons with countermeasures, and it was pretty good because I think I could do each of those 65s for 1 hour repair. So I was doing 5 of those and 4 or 5 of those, and it was over.
Yep. Okay.
Moving on. Do we have the video of that?
The new Mortar?
Yeah, the new raid.
We don't have a raid video as such. We've got the teaser. I'm sure that's where we got the screenshots from. It's been shared already on the page. I'm assuming most people have seen it. If you haven't, I would probably suggest that you carefully climb under the rock that you are living under and go out and watch that, because it's been around for what, a few days. It's one of these things where you see it and it gets posted 6 or 7 times on one page. You can't miss it.
Yep. It's been posted at least once in every Facebook group I'm a part of, so as well as right on the Kicksai forums and one of those pinned general discussion posts. So yeah.
Yeah, and we've just shown you some screenshots, so it would be kind of silly to show you the video as well.
Yep. All right, Rob, anything else?
Right, so yeah, we're pretty much coming to the end now. I'm going to say something which is pretty, I don't know what the word is, it's pretty tense at the moment in the community. For those of you who watched our last show on Friday, it did get out of hand because of obviously emotions and tensions are high with the game, with personal situations, all sorts of things can impact the way people are on the game and stuff. I just want to say, in no way does anybody on this panel or on our page condone anything that's going on at the moment that can make you banned. We all know what we're talking about. So we're talking about the disputing charges. Now, I hate to say it, but Rigpig, who was a great friend, and he still is a good friend, and he was a member of this panel, he actually went and did that himself. And as much as it hurts to say this, he's now banned. So I just want to say that as an example to people. If you do that, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get banned. And we don't condone anything that gets you banned on this page. So any post that we see, they're gone straight away. We won't be discussing it anymore. We're certainly not going to talk about it on the shows. So in the future, if anyone comes on the panel and talks about anything to do with that, you'll be gone straight away. I know it sounds pretty, almost like a teacher telling off the kids at school or something, but it needs to be said. We don't appreciate people talking about that on the show. We're here to help people, and quite frankly, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but that's not helping people. It's just helping you get banned. So any questions to do with the game or anything, come to us. We're more than happy to help. Anything to do with that, we don't want to know. So keep it to yourself and don't involve us, because we don't want to be a part of it. So,
Rob,
well, go ahead. I can go there.
Yeah, I want to chime in on that. I know some people have said that it's really kind of crappy of Kicksai to ban people for asking for a chargeback. I picked up a new game, or started a new game last week. It's called Hearthstone. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's Blizzard. It's a collectible deck game. Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. But anyway, the point is, in their store, I just went to their store today, and right on the page before you buy anything, it says any chargebacks will result in you getting banned. And they say it right up front, but the point is, it's not unusual in this industry, and so
okay, we'll say, Larry, not talking about Hearthstone, because I think that if you guys don't like the way Battle Pass is going, do like me. I stopped playing it and I have not played it back. So, but dispute charges can get you into trouble. But the thing is that, for example, you're talking about Hearthstone. In Hearthstone, as you know, there are 2 currencies. There is the dust that you get when you scrap your cards that you don't like, and then there is the gold that you can earn every single day. When they do something like that big nerfs, like have they done in Battle Pass now with the Reapers, or they did with the Strike Beast, that they changed it because it was not intended. In those other companies, they give you a period of time, 1 week, 2 weeks, in which they refund you 100% all the invest you did to get that. So the player or the customer, whatever you want to call it, don't feel that he has wasted the money, the time, or both, or the effort to get that thing. That's something that maybe Kicksai should have to think a bit about that, because for example, people that build those Reapers and put those deluge missiles and got all the stuff to R15, they spent a lot of time, uranium, money, and all that came after. That now Kixeye thinks that is need to nerf because unbalance a lot of the game. I could agree, but don't make people feel like they have wasted the time, the money, the uranium, and the like. Refund them so they can invest that thing into something different, and everybody will be happy. You cannot always think all on your side. Think about a bit more about those customers, and you will have them happy. Because yes, dispute the charges is not the way to do it, but also Kixeye should have to think why these people ended doing that, and maybe fix that so the game in the future comes better.
Yeah, I agree. And leading on from what you've just said there, Tio, I don't want people to think that this is just a kiss ass thing and that, because I completely disagree with what's happened on Kixeye's end. I don't agree with how it's been treated with regards to the whole people asking for refunds and the whole nerf to begin with. But what we're here for is to help people. We're not here to just to kind of influence how people behave. If you want to go and do things, it's completely up to you what you do, but on your head be it. And that's something that we need to make sure we don't promote. So Kixeye, you need to sort your act out as well. We're always giving tips and advice. I've had many run-ins personally on support with Kixeye staff about certain issues in the game, but that's something that I'm choosing to deal with my way. I just we can't have stuff like that on the show, and I know it's going to make people hate me. I honestly don't give a shit. If you have differing views, that's fine. We don't all agree with things all the time. People have different opinions on different things, but there comes a line where you have to draw. You have to draw the line somewhere, and I'm drawing that line today.
Great.
So that's made things awkward and tense.
As always, Rob. As always.
Well, Rick Pig's in the chat, so hey Rick, nice to see you still hanging around. I think we've kind of come to the end there, haven't we? So
I think so.
Yeah, we'll call it a day. We've got a show coming on Friday. We haven't actually got a topic yet, so we're gonna probably look at what the vote was last time. Last time, I think base defense strategy was the second most popular vote behind the future of the game, so we could look at something to do with that. You can always message us. We'll put up some topics of conversation, pin it to the page, so you can give some pointers as to what you might want to talk about. And remember, there's 10 slots on the panel. We'd love to see them full, so message if you want to be on the panel, and we'll get that arranged for you as well. Anything anybody wants to add before we stop?
Yeah, fix the Bullseye Brigade roll.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't
Well, I
that
think you could say it's fixed.
So it's working as intended.
Yeah, as intended for them.
Yeah, I'd love to see bullseyes more frequently in my Great Hall. I'd love to see a bigger Great Hall. I can't roll for any crews at the moment.
I'd actually love to see the Bullseye Brigade as a legendary, like an hour and a half.
I just want to be able to roll. I want to rank up my ships, but I haven't got assaulty dogs, and I'd like to use assaulty dogs while they're ranked because it's the most common sense thing to do. I've got plenty of uranium to do it. I just don't have the space. I have like 13 or 14 crews. I have some demo squads, some irradiated cutthroats, and the grease monkeys saved for the raid. I'm not dismissing any of them because I want and need them.
It'd be
So
nice to
give
have
me
your
more-
uncommon crews and your common crews in like different slots, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
you
just
get
get,
10 of,
Oh,
10
that's
of the
a good idea.
uncommon, 10 of the uncommon and 10 of the common.
that would be a good idea.
Because I remember, I think that in my account still I couldn't get any more because all was legendary and most of them were from those campaigns. What was the name? Let It Go Rogue or something like that.
Going rogue. Yeah.
Or Going Rogue.
Anyway, so we'll leave it there. We'll leave it on that Kixeye. do something with the road crews, improve them, give us more space. I don't know. Make the bullseye come around once every blue moon or something.
Well, I got
So
I got 2 demos before I got a bullseye today.
yeah, it's pretty silly, isn't it?
I actually got on this morning and I rolled a cutthroat and a bullseye crew back to back, and then I spent another 30,000 U crap afterwards. So it ended up balancing out. I didn't get anything, but you know, I was real excited for the first 2 rolls and then pissed off after another 10 minutes of getting nothing.
Yeah, so we'll leave it on there then. Thank you for everyone for coming out. See us on Friday. Remember to let us know if you want in on the show or anything you want us to talk about. So yeah, catch you later.
Good
Good
night.
night. Good night, Battle Pirates. Good night.
Pillage and plunder. Arr.
Everybody.